I'd have been like, all that you're doing is stupid at this point. I know you might have got on from doing it and it worked out to be able to make some money, but I think you need
6ix9ine just set the spotlight on Meek Mill in a way that's louder than ever, and this time, it's more than trolling. Now that Meek's name has been dragged into the chaos surrounding the Diddy controversy, the timing couldn't be better for 6ix9ine to make his move. The long-standing feud between the two just found a fresh spark, and it's catching fast. The beef between 6ix9ine and Meek Mill isn't new. It's been simmering since 2018, long before the recent headlines connected Meek to troubling rumors.
slow down. I think you beefing with too many people right now. You putting the wrong energy out, and the world will deliver the energy that you putting out. Like, you delivering a gangster type of energy now. He locked up in the middle of some shit. So, you know, you gave out that energy, you kind of got that energy back. I seen him one time and I was like, yo, I want to holler at you real quick. He was like, all right, I'm going to holler at you in a second. And I was going to tell him, like, things not talking about prison. Just like, yo, stop putting that energy out. You get money now.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? And nobody want to live like that. You can't live with 10 security guards forever.
Back then, 6ix9ine faced federal charges and famously cooperated with authorities, flipping on the 9 Trey Bloods. He testified in court, pointing fingers with the precision of someone who seemed born for the witness stand. The rap world watched as that courtroom drama unfolded. Meek Mill, a voice in hip-hop's justice reform conversation, was one of the loudest critics. To him, it was a betrayal of everything street culture stands for. He had long embraced the image of someone who stayed grounded, preaching about accountability, integrity, and reform. In a 2018 interview, Meek even said he wanted to give 6ix9ine advice, warning him about the consequences of reckless energy. He said, you give out that certain kind of energy, and that energy actually comes back.
But neither here nor there, you heard? Listen, y'all niggas tell Meek Mill, come fight me. Tell Meek Mill I want to fight that one-on-one, you heard? And I don't even got to trip about money and all that, because I got more money than...
And now, in 2025, that energy has circled back full force at a time when Meek least expected it. By 2020, the tension between Meek Mill and 6ix9ine reached a boiling point. Their feud, already years deep, exploded into full view when Meek took to X, formerly Twitter, aiming at 6ix9ine's return to social media. Meek tweeted, I hope that rat going live to apologize to the people he told on are the victim. Y'all forgot that fast? He added a heavy statement invoking Nipsey Hussle's death, suggesting that someone like 6ix9ine shouldn't be walking free. That tweet shook things up. Meek wasn't just criticizing 6ix9ine, he was questioning the system that allowed him back into the spotlight. But 6ix9ine didn't stay quiet. He fired back quickly, writing, imagine having a newborn baby come into the world and be pressed about a Mexican with rainbow hair.
You a bitch here, right here, fraud on the ground like you was that. Baby, my niggas will be in the land swerving with me, eating gat. Dog, real boss, make a call, you a bitch.
It was a direct shot, mocking Meek's focus during a personal milestone, and meant to rattle the situation further. Meek clapped back again, calling 6ix9ine a keyboard informant and accusing him of pushing a false image just to impress fans. He painted 6ix9ine as someone creating chaos for views, not principle, claiming the rapper was performing for attention while pretending to be raising young leaders. Meek tried to shift the narrative, criticizing the justice system and policing, using it as a backdrop to contrast 6ix9ine's antics. Then when 6ix9ine dropped Gooba, loaded with brash visuals and heavy trolling, Meek wasn't silent. He saw it as a desperate move for clout and streams, a grab for attention dressed as a comeback. And just like that, the beef turned from passive shots to a full-blown ideological clash. Meek Mill went all in, mocking 6ix9ine's comeback track and calling it a complete failure. Egg Nicki.
And we got a lawsuit. So the Lil Rod lawsuit we got.
Yeah, I read through the whole thing.
And it didn't mention Meek by name, but there was a footnote.
A Philly rapper who used to date Nicki Minaj.
It was like a Jeopardy question.
Duh, who is that? There could only be one person on the planet. Unless there's a Philly rapper that also dated Nicki that no one knows about, it's obviously Meek Mill.
So essentially, I reacted to, I literally found out on stream, like, what the f? I'm like, yo, no way Meek Mill was in these free calls.
He publicly trashed the song, calling it trash, and dismissed the return as nothing more than a publicity stunt from a rapper with rainbow hair. Meek made it clear 6ix9ine's music and presence weren't welcome, but 6ix9ine doesn't take criticism quietly. Instead, he countered with a pointed attack on Meek's credibility. He called out Meek's public activism, claiming it was performative, only displayed when the cameras were rolling. 6ix9ine questioned the sincerity of Meek's justice reform stance, painting it as an image crafted for likes, not change. Then everything escalated on February 14th, 2021. Outside an Atlanta nightclub, the tension broke into public view. As Meek Mill was exiting, 6ix9ine confronted him. The moment was caught on video, 6ix9ine yelling, accusing Meek of being escorted by law enforcement, while Meek's security stepped in, forming a barrier between them. No punches were thrown, but the scene was explosive and instantly viral. Meek tweeted shortly after, claiming 6ix9ine waited outside the venue to ambush him. He accused 6ix9ine of trying to bait a reaction for headlines and clouded attention. 6ix9ine clapped back online, mocking Meek for needing heavy security and painting himself as fearless, while portraying Meek as overly protected.
All the champagne was spiked, son. Like, all the champagne was spiked. Everybody was passed the out. I don't drink, so I was playing that off like I don't drink. I smoke. Like, I smoke and I had my own weed, but like everybody was passed out. Yo, Diddy had that man in the room. Look, yes, I put my ear to the door and I brought the phone because Diddy started going in overdrive. I ain't know what the was going on, but I just heard balls slapping against ass cheeks. I heard struggling to take. I heard being like, yeah, daddy. Like when he started all that daddy this and daddy that, and then I heard some hollering and struggling. Like, yeah, I kept the phone there and I recorded all this because I was.
And now, with Meek Mill's name circling around allegations tied to Diddy's infamous scandal, the floodgates have opened. As images and leaked audio stirred controversy, Meek's longtime rivals wasted no time. Soulja Boy tweeted a sharp jab involving Diddy. But it's 6ix9ine who's truly capitalizing on the moment, using it to serve up a brutal roast he's been prepping for years. Meek Mill is now the main course. It's no secret that Meek Mill and Diddy have shared close ties for years. From industry events to private parties, they've been seen side by side, celebrating and socializing in high-profile spaces. But now, as Diddy's empire faces unprecedented scrutiny, marked by lawsuits, leaked footage, and troubling party allegations, Meek's name is being dragged into the storm from every angle.
Right next to him.
We sleeping right next to each other. Pause. So like, would you like you just not for real?
I get it, but
I slept right here. He slept right there.
Multiple insiders and leaked reports now claim that Meek Mill, at one time, held a particularly favored status in Diddy's inner circle. Allegedly, this connection came with VIP perks and elite access, rumored to be granted in return for the time he spent in Diddy's company. One incident that continues to raise eyebrows is Meek's 27th birthday celebration. Diddy reportedly rented out a $25,000 a night Vegas estate known as the Parisian Palace. What happened inside that property, according to the estate's property manager Jason Haight, left behind a disturbing aftermath. He described the scene as unsanitary and chaotic. Broken liquor bottles, used protection, blood-stained sheets, and personal items scattered across expensive surfaces. Razor blades and various lubricants were allegedly left behind, alongside a half ounce of a white powdery substance on the floor, panties in bushes, and 2 forgotten iPhones.
Yeah, y'all already know how we playing out this. It's real life.
Real life
shit.
Yeah,
Diddy gang, Meek Mill in real life. Don't ever disrespect me, you heard?
Talk that shit, Meek. Yeah, Meek.
What's more, Haight stated that before any guests arrived, Diddy had all the locks changed so that he was the only one with bedroom access. He also reportedly installed custom smoke detectors, some of which were suspected to contain hidden cameras. That now infamous clip circulating across social platforms, allegedly showing compromising footage of Meek Mill, was reportedly recorded that very night. With new details continuing to surface, this connection between Meek and Diddy is taking on a deeper and more controversial context. The lines between personal loyalty and potential exploitation are starting to blur in ways that demand further examination. The controversy deepened when a bodyguard reportedly leaked disturbing claims that Diddy had spiked everyone's drinks before the now infamous party unfolded. According to the account, this wasn't just a party, it was a coordinated power play, bordering on predatory behavior that raised serious ethical and legal questions. The story painted a picture of control, manipulation, and hidden motives in high places.
That's the you pussy. That's the you pussy. Hey, you security. This is security. That's security. If you pussy. Look. Shut up. And you with a cop. You way out. And look, you tight. And you with police. And you with police. Look, that cop. That cop.
Adding more fuel to the speculation, an old clip resurfaced showing Diddy casually referring to Meek Mill as Daddy. That single moment, while seemingly small, ignited a social media wildfire. Viewers across platforms questioned the nature of their relationship, with the term sparking intense backlash and endless memes. For many, it was a puzzling departure from the typical dynamics expected between two industry peers. As the storm grew, Meek took to X to address the situation. In a string of posts, he positioned himself as a misunderstood figure, saying, "My voice is so powerful as a black man from the ghetto world. Why they want it gone? I'm a real king. Straight out the trenches, under control of no human." He suggested that calculated efforts were underway to damage his reputation through orchestrated campaigns. He even claimed to have invested $100,000 to uncover the source behind what he described as a targeted smear campaign. Somebody powering these bad campaigns with Meek Mill? Again, I got $100K for a thorough investigation of who's powering and how exactly my name connect to this, he tweeted. While the public response was mixed, what stood out was the absence of any follow-through. No investigative findings, no publicized receipts, just silence. As questions mounted and doubts grew, many began wondering, if none of these accusations hold weight, then why hasn't there been a clear and transparent response to shut it all down? As the smoke continues to rise from Meek Mill's silence, another voice is stepping into the spotlight, 6ix9ine. With Meek entangled in allegations by association, 6ix9ine now sees an open lane. This isn't the same troll energy from years ago. This time, it's calculated. A cold move in a game where timing is everything and the internet never forgets. With Diddy under fire and his inner circle catching heat, 6ix9ine is seizing the moment. Across social platforms, he's beginning to drop breadcrumbs, cryptic captions, strategic reposts, and subtle jabs. It's not just about dragging Meek. It's about leveraging the cultural moment to reposition himself as the disruptor who never left. In his eyes, Meek has become vulnerable. And in this climate, vulnerability is currency. The public is watching every move, waiting for a clapback or confirmation. But so far, Meek's silence is feeding the storm. Every hour he goes without clearing the air, the narrative gets further from his control. And 6ix9ine knows how to weaponize that vacuum. He's not just a provocateur anymore. He's a mirror to a collapsing image. And the reflection he's offering is ugly. The conversation now isn't just about industry beef or online trolling. It's about reputation, optics, and survival in a digital world where perception is king. And right now, 6ix9ine's latest plays are being received as strategic body shots to Meek's legacy. And now, with the narrative spiraling, industry voices are starting to whisper. Quiet conversations in back rooms and private threads are asking a question too loud to ignore. How much longer can Meek Mill avoid a direct response? Because while accusations continue to swirl and 6ix9ine sharpens his shots, silence begins to sound less like strategy and more like surrender. Journalists, bloggers, and insiders are beginning to circle, not because of what's been proven, but because of what hasn't been denied. The longer this lingers, the more opportunity it gives for speculation to mutate into perception. And in the world of hip-hop, perception can be career-altering. What was once Meek's strength, his reputation as a fighter, a survivor, now feels like it's hanging in the balance. Meanwhile, 6ix9ine's digital machine is already in motion. Old clips are resurfacing, lyrics are being dissected, photos and past interactions are being recontextualized. It's a digital battlefield, and Meek is the target. Every meme, every comment, every repost adds weight to a narrative he hasn't yet addressed head-on. And that's the danger here. Not the accusations alone, but the vacuum they create. Because when people don't hear from you, they start speaking for you. And when your opponents are louder and more relentless, they start controlling the story. Why not follow through if the resources are there? Or is it all smoke and posturing? This isn't just speculation. In Lil Rod's lawsuit against Diddy, he clearly states a Philly rapper who previously dated Nicki Minaj was involved in the alleged behavior. That detail alone has triggered a wave of scrutiny. Because when you connect that clue to Meek Mill, people start raising eyebrows. The timeline, the geography, the connection, it all starts painting a picture. And then 6ix9ine entered the chat. In a conversation with DJ Academics, he casually mentioned Diddy once slept next to a Philly rapper. That wasn't just gossip, it was a targeted statement, crafted to stir things up, hinting at something deeper. And in this climate, every word is amplified. Street chatter suggests it was a direct shot at Meek Mill. And if that's true, it wasn't just an insult, it was an attempt to drag him fully into the Diddy scandal narrative. 6ix9ine has waited years for a moment like this, and now that Meek is surrounded by controversy, he's pressing the advantage. The internet didn't miss a beat. One user wrote, "He's in the pool knowing his act is hurting fam and Diddy recorded it on purpose. Bro is diabolical." Another added, "Did he use that man on his birthday? I bet Meek Mill hates birthdays now." A third pointed out, "It's amazing that all these Diddy parties had drugs, spiked drinks, freak-offs, and yet no fights, no noise, just peace with brother love." So the question remains, was Meek Mill simply caught in the crossfire of a collapsing empire, or is he hiding more than he's willing to admit? And how deep does this really go? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't hold back. If you're here for raw truth, unfiltered breakdowns, and hip-hop's untold stories, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around for the next jaw-dropping expose coming up next.